sporty people, and welcome back to the Sporty Side Up. This video is about the International Olympic Committee and the dilemma of Russian and Belarusian athletes. It is no news that Russian and Belarusian athletes have been suspended from major sporting events. Russian athletes especially are probably already fed up with the constant bans from competing at international events. First, it was due to the statewide doping that was before the Tokyo 2020 Games, where clean athletes were eventually allowed to compete under a neutral flag. And now it's because of President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine. That is no news. Unfortunately, the Belarusians have been dragged into this ban because they are allies to Russia. Athletes from both countries have, since the invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, been banned from competing in football and so many other team sports. But in individual sports like tennis, players are allowed to compete neutrally, except for Wimbledon, which they were outrightly banned from competing. Let's not forget the Davis Cup and the Billie Jean Cup, which both countries were also banned from participating because those events are team sports. But recently, the International Olympic Committee opened the door for Russian and Belarusian athletes to compete as neutrals, stating that a boycott would violate the Olympic Charter and that its inclusion of Russians and Belarusians was based on the United Nations resolution against discrimination within the Olympic movement. I don't think that banning both countries should be seen as discriminatory. But then the IOC head, talking about Thomas Bach, has said that he has left it to the individual international federations to decide whether the athletes should be given a pathway to qualify. But there have been growing calls from countries, especially from Ukraine, athletes, and even the host of the next Olympics in Paris. Countries including the UK, the US, Germany, Australia, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and Poland have all backed the exclusion of Russia and Belarus from the 2024 Olympics. It is unfair, really, to those athletes, but who do you blame? I think they should take their frustrations out on their president, who caused the problem. For the US, Russian and Belarusian athletes should be blocked from the 2024 Olympics unless it is absolutely clear that they are not representing their respective countries. This is according to the White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
To the Russian and Belarusian states, including government officials from positions of influence in international sport federations, such as boards and organizing committees, encouraging national and international sports organizations to suspend and broadcasting of sports competition into Russia and Belarus. In cases where sports organizations and event organizers, such as the International Olympic Committee, choose to permit athletes from Russia and Belarus to participate in supporting events, it should be absolutely clear that they are not representing the Russian or Belarusian.
You just listened to Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House Press Secretary, about where the US stands as it concerns Russian and Belarusian athletes performing at the 2024 Olympics. Moving ahead, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has expectedly called for Russian and Belarusian athletes to be blocked from the Olympics as well. In a virtual meeting with sports ministers from 35 countries, Zelensky said Russia's presence at the Games will stain everything with blood, even the white flag of the Olympics. Let's listen to him.
As representatives of the terrorist state have no place at sport and Olympic competitions, and it cannot be covered up with some pretended neutrality or white flag, because Russia is now a country that stains everything with blood. Even the white flag, it must be recognized, and these must be recognized in particular at the level of the International Olympic Committee.
Yes, that was President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, speaking up once more against Russia and Belarus participation at the 2024 Olympic Games in France. It has been almost a year since Russia invaded Ukraine, and athletes from both sides have been tormented by the crisis in their countries. Russia's Olympic prospect Sergei Shebenkov, the 2015 world champion in the 110 hurdle, said he avoids reading the news to learn about the decisions concerning his country's participation at the Olympics. Shebenkov was one of 10 Russians selected by the World Athletics compete at the Tokyo Games without Russia's flag or anthem. He said, and I quote, "As an athlete, I devoted all of my life to this sport and always did my job. And I'm being told now, you're a good guy, but we don't need you. Much will depend on how World Athletics will behave, and everything is not so rosy." Unfortunately for him, depending on the decision by World Athletics this time, he may not be participating at the 2024 Olympic Games. But former world boxing champion Vitali Klitschko, who is the mayor of Kiev, Ukrainian city, wants Russian athletes to publicly denounce the war if they are to be allowed to participate in the 2024 Olympics. Should these athletes from Russia and Belarus be allowed to compete, or, like Vitali Klitschko suggested, that they denounce the war before they're allowed to take part in the 2024 Olympics? Let me hear what you think about that in the comment section. Until our next video, please like, subscribe, comment. Don't forget to hit the notification bell for more content. See ya!